Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 4, Lesson 29, and today we finish the family of subordinate clauses with the noun clause. We've had a clause that describes a noun and a clause that describes a verb. Today we get a clause that describes nothing at all, because instead of pointing at a noun, it simply becomes one. Let's dig in. Let's start with what this thing actually is. A noun clause is a subordinate clause used as a noun. Like every clause, it carries its own subject and its own verb. And like every subordinate clause, it cannot stand alone as a sentence. But here is the difference, and it is a big one. An adjective clause describes a noun. An adverb clause describes a verb. A noun clause describes nothing at all. Instead, it fills a noun slot. Anywhere a single noun could sit in a sentence, a whole clause can sit there in its place. Hold on to one line and the rest of this lesson falls into place. An adjective clause describes a noun. A noun clause is one. So what words open a noun clause? Here is the list, and I want you to hear it in 3 groups. Group 1. That, what, whatever, which, whichever. Group 2. Who, whoever, whom, whomever, whose. Group 3. How, when, where, whether, why. Read those aloud a couple of times. But now notice something uncomfortable. You have met many of these words before. Where opens adverb clauses. Who opens adjective clauses. That opens both of them. So the opening word by itself will never tell you which kind of clause you are holding. Only the job the clause is doing can decide that. Let's walk the noun clause through its jobs, one at a time. Job 1, the subject. What she decided surprised everyone. Ask the subject question. Who or what surprised everyone? Not a person, not a thing. The answer is the whole clause, what she decided. That clause is the subject of the verb surprised. Job 2, the direct object. I know that he left early. I know what? The answer is that he left early. The whole clause is catching the action of the verb know, so it is the direct object. And look how easily it slides in. Wherever there is one slot for a noun, one clause slides right in. Now 2 more noun slots a clause can fill. Job 3, the object of a preposition. Give the prize to whoever finishes first. The preposition here is to, and every preposition needs an object after it. That object is not a single noun like the winner. It is the entire clause, whoever finishes first. Job 4, the predicate nominative. The problem is that we are late. After a linking verb, a predicate nominative renames the subject. What is the problem? The problem is that we are late. So the clause is renaming the subject, problem. And notice this in both sentences. You could swap in a plain noun and the sentence still stands. Give the prize to the winner. The problem is our lateness. Same slots filled by clauses. 2 finishing touches, and then we put it all together. First, a noun clause can also be an appositive. The rumor that the show was canceled spread fast. What rumor exactly? The clause tells you that the show was canceled. It sits right next to the noun, rumor, and renames it. That is a positive work. Second, and this one will save you in your own writing, the word that can quietly drop out. I know that he left early. Or simply, I know he left early. The word that is gone from the page, yet the noun clause is still there, doing the very same job as the direct object. So if a clause seems to begin out of nowhere, try slipping that back in. If it fits, you are looking at a noun clause. Now for the part that trips everybody up, and it deserves a board of its own. The very same word can open 3 completely different clauses. Listen carefully. Number 1, the town where I grew up. That clause tells you which town, so it hangs on a noun. Adjective clause. Number 2, we stopped where the road ended. That clause tells you where we stopped, so it hangs on the verb. Adverb clause. And number 3, where the road ended is a mystery. Same 3 words, brand new job. This time the clause is not describing anything. It's the subject of the sentence. It is the noun. Noun clause. So how do you tell them apart every single time? Here is the test. Swap the clause for it, or for something. Where the road ended is a mystery becomes it is a mystery, and that works perfectly. Noun clause. Now try it on the other 2. The town, it, no. We stopped, it, that changes the meaning entirely. If it or something can stand in the clause's place, you have a noun clause. If it can't, you don't. Let's boil the whole lesson down into a check you can run on any clause. Step 1. Is it a subordinate clause? Does it carry its own subject and its own verb, and can it not stand alone as a sentence? Step 2. Is it modifying anything? Ask whether it is describing a noun or describing a verb. If the answer is no, it is not modifying a thing, then keep going. Step 3. Swap in the word it or the word something right where the clause sits. Does the sentence still hold together? If it fits, you have a noun clause. Then finish the job and name its slot. Subject, direct object, object of a preposition, predicate nominative, or a positive. Let's try a few together. In this first set, every sentence already contains a noun clause. Your job is to name the slot it is filling. Find the clause, then ask what a noun would be doing in that exact spot. Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. Whoever painted this mural is talented. Find the clause first. Whoever painted this mural. Now ask the subject question. Who is talented? The clause itself answers it. Swap in the word someone and it still works. Someone is talented. So the clause is the subject. The coach announced that practice was canceled. The subject here is the coach, and the verb is announced. So ask, the coach announced what? The answer is the whole clause, that practice was canceled. It is catching the action of the verb, so this one is the direct object. Send the invoice to whoever ordered the parts. Look for a preposition, and there it is, the little word to. Every preposition needs an object, and here the object is not one noun, but a whole clause, whoever ordered the parts. So this clause is the object of a preposition. Now the harder call. Each sentence carries a subordinate clause, but only some of them are noun clauses. Run the test. Try swapping the clause for the word it or the word something. If it fits, you have a noun clause. Pause and decide before I answer. The house where my aunt lives is blue. Try the test. The house, it is blue? That is nonsense. The clause is not filling a noun slot at all. It is telling you which house we mean, so it hangs on the noun house. That makes it an adjective clause. Where my aunt lives is a mystery to me. Same opening words as before, but watch the job change. Run the test. It is a mystery to me. That works beautifully. The clause is not modifying anything. It is the subject of the sentence. So this one is a noun clause. We left early because the road was icy. Try the swap. We left early something? No, that falls apart. The clause is not filling a noun slot. It is telling you why we left, so it hangs on the verb left. That makes it an adverb clause. Let's gather it all up. A noun clause is a subordinate clause used as a noun. It doesn't describe a noun the way an adjective clause does, and it doesn't describe a verb the way an adverb clause does. It fills a noun slot instead. It can be a subject, a direct object, an object of a preposition, a predicate nominative, or an appositive that renames the noun beside it. It opens with words like that, what, whatever, who, whoever, which, how, when, where, whether, and why. But remember, the opener never decides. The job decides. So run the test. Swap the clause for it, or for something. If it fits, it's a noun clause. And keep an ear out for the vanishing that, because it can drop right off the page while the clause stays behind. In the next lesson, we'll step back and look at the kinds of sentences. I'll see you there.